So we're going to make a chorizo and pumpkin risotto. It's a brilliant, simple autumnal supper dish. So I'm going to run through the ingredients quickly with you. So we've got, starting with good quality olive oil, we've got some shallots, some garlic, some chorizo. This is a kind of almost a semi-dried, some milder, it's not too spicy. We've got some fresh pumpkin just come into season. We're going to use carnaroli rice for this one. This is there's 3 different types of rice you can use for risotto. This is very high starch content. It's a rounder grain than the arborio, which seems to be the more popular one, but this is the one that I prefer. For me, it's a nicer texture. We've got some Parmesan Reggiano, some white wine, good dry white wine, chicken stock, good chicken stock, which I'll go into in more detail later on, and then we're just going to finish the risotto with some, again, good quality unsalted butter and some fresh roquette. So what we're doing, we're just going to peel some garlic here. So what we're doing is just break the skin of the garlic. Okay, so we're going to cut the garlic in half. And you see what we have here is, in the middle you've got the garlic germ. So we're just going to take that out. So if you just nick the root, you see that part there. You take that out because now sometimes if it gets late on in the season or the garlic starts to sprout, it gets very green. That part of the garlic is indigestible. You know, you get that part where garlic smells and it keeps repeating on you. Really, that's what that is. So just remove that germ. So chorizo. So this chorizo, as I said, it's kind of semi-spicy. So all we're going to do here is, there's a very thin skin on the chorizo. So we're just going to take that off. You see that there? So once that starts to cook brilliant, it just shrivels up and it just gets in the way. Okay, so we remove the skin from the chorizo. And then really we're just going to cut that into relatively small dice. So you can see the texture of the chorizo there, it's not too dry. At the same time it's not too young either, so it's probably, say, about 6 months old, this. So this is small pumpkin, there's loads on the market at the moment. Very underused in my opinion. Makes brilliant soups, great mash, brilliant roasted. And it's it's used a lot in Italian cooking, but not so much over here. So again, what we're going to do is just cut that into a dice. Okay, so what we're doing here is we're prepping all the ingredients. So risotto, really, we get everything prepared and it's just a case of standing there 18 minutes, start to finish, it's finished. Okay, so what we're going to do now is grate some of the Parmesan. So Parmesan Reggiano. Never ever use the pre-grated stuff. So this Parmesan is 24 months old, great quality, and it makes all the difference to your finished risotto. Last but not least, we've got the roquette. So basically it's just a wild roquette. So we're just going to just roughly chop that. You can lose the stems. And this we're going to fold right in at the very end. So all we really want to do with the roquette is maintain maximum flavour from it. Again, it's quite peppery, but we just want to wilt that through the risotto at the end, so the heat should just finish cooking that. So what we've got, that's all the prep done. So all we've got to do now is finish the risotto. So 20 minutes start to finish, dish is finished. Okay, so I'm just going to put the stock on to boil. So what I'm going to do first of all here is I'm going to taste the stock for seasoning. Okay, so I'm just going to add a little bit of salt to that. Now what I'm doing here basically is seasoning the stock. Another thing, if the stock is seasoned properly at the beginning, again it just adds depth of flavour. Rice, it's like potatoes I suppose, it's difficult to take on seasoning at the end. So as the stock is cooking with the rice, again it gives it that kind of deeper depth of flavour. Okay, so olive oil is hot, so what we're going to do here is just add the shallots and garlic. So what we're doing here basically is just sweating that down. Just a few minutes just to soften the shallot, soften the garlic. We don't want to give it any colour at this point. You see there the chicken stock's simmering away nicely. Now one of the critical points for risotto is that the stock has to be simmering all the time. When we add it to the rice we don't ever want it to come off the boil. So that's our shallots and garlic pretty much ready there, nice and soft, no colour. So what we're going to do now is add the rice. I'm not going to wash the rice. What we want to do here is retain as much starch as we can on the rice. So we're just going to put that in there. Now again, critical stage here, one of the most critical stages is we need to cook the rice out with the shallot and garlic in the oil for a good couple of minutes. Now what you'll see here is the rice will start to go translucent. Now the Italians have a saying at this point, when you hear the rice start to sing, then it's ready to take the wine. So what will happen is you'll hear the rice, it'll actually start to click. So what we're getting there is, you can see the rice starting to turn translucent and you'll get that little white grain in the middle of the rice. So what we're essentially doing here is sealing the rice. And this is critical because as we come to the end of cooking, we don't want the rice to break up. We don't want it to end up as a pudding. We want the rice to retain its nice shape with a little bite. And this stage here is crucial to that. Okay, so that's that there. You can see the rice is all nicely sealed off. So at this point, I'm going to pour in the white wine. Okay, at this stage as well, with the white wine under a very high heat, so turn the heat up full for that. What we're going to do here is reduce the white wine down till it's completely dry. Now what that'll do, it's starting to extract the starch from the rice now, but the acidity as well, as the wine's reducing, the acidity then helps retain the shape of the rice. It also intensifies the flavour as well. You see that's coming down quickly. Now see as we're going through it, you can actually see it start to happen already there. You see how the rice is starting to get the wine is almost turned creamy. That's the starch starting to be extracted from the rice. And what we'll do when we stir the risotto is that starch will be developed. Now at this point what I'm going to do, I'm going to add the pumpkin. Pumpkin in there and stir that through, and at this point I'm going to add probably about a third of the hot stock. So you'll see that as soon as it hits the pan, the stock continues to boil. And already you can see how that's now starting to become creamy and white. So continue to stir that risotto as it cooks. Now what's going to happen is the rice is going to absorb some of the stock, it's going to reduce down, and again once it gets to a dry texture, we're then going to start adding more of the stock to it, and you'll see it become creamy and creamier the more we stir it. So at this point here, you can see that second lot of stock now come down. You can see it's starting to get really quite creamy now. I'm going to put the chorizo into that. So we're just going to cook that out for a few seconds. Okay, that's your chorizo in. So we're going to add some more stock to this now again. You can see there now the character of the risotto is starting to form there. At this point here, the rice is cooked, the pumpkin's cooked. I'm going to fold in some of our freshly grated parmesan. Just going to turn that heat down slightly. So fold that parmesan through there. You can see that there, it's nice and creamy. At this point, let's just have a taste for seasoning. So, salt wise that's fine, I'm just going to add a few tons of pepper to that. Me personally, I like pepper, lots of pepper. Again, personal taste. But for this one, I think with all the chorizo and everything that's in it, it can stand a fair bit of pepper. And at this point as well, some of the cold butter. So I'm just going to add, this just kind of richens the risotto and again just adds a little bit of creaminess to it. So again, good quality butter, you can see that's nice and white. So we're just going to fold this, melt this butter through the sauce. Smells absolutely fantastic. And then last thing we're going to do now, so as the butter is just about melted, we're just going to put the fresh roquette onto the risotto, and all we're going to do is wilt this through. The heat from the risotto will be enough just to cook the risotto down. So we're just going to fold that through there, and then we're ready for serving. Perfect. So, okay, so we have 80 minutes start to finish. Perfect pumpkin chorizo risotto, and all we have to do now, take some fresh parmesan and just melt that over the top. Fantastic.